guys! For the 63 subscribers that are currently used to my content, I just want to let you know that this channel is going to be taking a big shift. Going forward, I want to try and strike more to balance being both educational and entertaining to watch. So the videos are going to be a bit longer so I can give that more in-depth information, probably aiming about, I would say 15 and 20 minutes. I even have a new manager of the channel, Simon. He is a Yale University student and he will help me research into topics and help write the script for this channel. So hopefully the quality is a bit higher. If it's not, let me know any suggestions that I should probably make in the future. But it should be infused with a lot more personality, so they're both more enjoyable and you won't just see animated videos 24/7, you'll see me on the screen. But for YouTube Shorts, we're going to try to make brain rot educational content for the people who can't focus on something but they still want to learn. And so for any new or returning subscribers, I'm trying to make a video once a month. Keyword is trying. So try to turn on notifications and help me out because this is a little personal project. I'm not getting any benefits from this, but if you can share this or give me your ideas down below, I would really appreciate that. That helps Simon and I out with the algorithm and trying to figure out what the community likes, what you guys want to see next, and etc. So on to the actual video. Hey guys! I decided that this first video should be about piranhas because I feel like piranhas are almost like sharks in the sense of the community has deemed them as this evil creature because of some story some guy made, even though piranhas are not like that. They're not like that at all. Like for example, when the typical person thinks of piranhas, they think of these bloodthirsty animals that supervillains use to dangle heroes above traps. They're vicious creatures that will swarm at any animal that dares enter the Amazon River. And like piranhas can just instantly turn something into a skeleton. We've all seen those videos of before and after a piranha just ripping through the flesh of something. And so it makes sense how we, in our mind, piranhas are these bloodthirsty animals, shark-like fish. But that's not true at all. And I often wondered, where did piranhas get this image from? Because with sharks, they got their bad imagery from the movie Jaws. Before Jaws, sharks were not deemed as this evil creature we've seen. In fact, the creator of the movie Jaws made a post apologizing because it created this misunderstanding hatred against sharks. And the reason why I bring up the shark and Jaws is because it has similar personalities to piranhas. Our modern perception of piranhas has been completely shaped by just one man 111 years ago, President of the United States, Theodore Roosevelt. And so in this video, I will be covering ecology and biology of piranhas, but I will mostly talk about Theodore Roosevelt and his expeditions and why it led to people hating piranhas. But if you don't care about Theodore Roosevelt and just want piranhas, then you can just skip to this timestamp. So Theodore Roosevelt, he helped pioneer the network of national parks across the United States, which are now under attack by the federal government. And he was known to be such a formidable outdoorsman and hunter to the point that during his speech in 1912, he got shot. And he was able to diagnose that the would-be assassin did not hit his lungs since he wasn't coughing up blood. And therefore, he could continue giving his speech as if nothing had happened. Like, that is insane. Like, to just think about getting shot mid-speech and then continue like nothing happened. That is mind-blowing. And so obviously this guy had a lot of respect after that and how he helped the national parks and he went on expeditions. And so a lot of communities, they would give him so much respect. The focus of this video, however, does not occur during his presidency, but actually 4 years after he left office. So in March of the same year, he went on the Smithsonian Roosevelt African expeditions, and I hope I said that correctly, where he hunted for like specimens for the Smithsonian and African Museum of Natural History's collection. So he helps out with all these national history collections, so obviously he gained this respect for it as well, and people trust his words. So that is going to be the build up to the reason why people hate piranhas. And after his term in Africa, he ended up going to Europe and meeting incredible historical figures and actually refused to meet the Pope. And then he returned back to the US in June of 1910. And a little fun fact, 4 months after this, he became the first president to ride in an airplane after he took a turn in the Wright brothers aircraft, which is insane. He was only in the air for 4 minutes, but it's like a significant historical event that has ever happened. Anyways, after once again participating in politics for a few more years and running for presidency yet again, purely out of hatred for William Howard, he went on his last and possibly greatest expeditions. He did lose the presidency in 1912, which he ran as a member of his own Bull Moose Party. Theodore Roosevelt was actually invited by the Brazilian government to go visit the River of Doubt. He went on this expedition with this Brazilian explorer named Rondon, and the River of Doubt was just discovered by Rondon. And this expedition was to map out and discover how it was connected to the Amazon. So the former president agreed, and thus the Roosevelt and Rondon expedition has started. Now, the expedition itself was a disaster. The rainforest was filled with disease-carrying insects, and the team was very ill prepared for this. They didn't even give nearly as much food as they needed, and the canoes that they had were very heavy, and you don't bring a heavy canoe to these big rapids. It's very easy to lose the rapids, forcing them to build new ones constantly. And every member of the expedition was almost always in a state of illness. In some way, it was the worst prepared expedition. The Native American Chinta large tribe was also a cause of concern and shadowed the expedition for a large portion of the journey. They did decide to let them pass in peace, which was apparently like a mercy since it was not given to any other expeditions in their land. So future expeditioners, don't mess with them. Okay, I make it sound terrible, but that's not to say the entire expedition was bad. They were partially sponsored by the American Museum of Natural History. So they were tasked with documenting and collecting specimens of plants and animals and insects especially. Now, I'm sure you're figuring out at this point, one of the animals that Roosevelt has found on this expedition is the piranhas. But it didn't really happen the way you'd expect it to happen. When I first heard that Theodore Roosevelt was responsible for everyone's bad opinion on piranhas, I assumed he just had a, bad personal experience with them in the wild. But that is not it at all. That is not the story whatsoever. According to Roosevelt's book, Through the Brazilian Wilderness, a copy which can be found online, there was a lot more layers to the story than you could ever imagine. If you take what Roosevelt said to face value, it makes piranhas seem as this ferocious monster. Like, I have this pulled up right here, and I can read from this book, and I will be putting it in the description, so feel free to check it out yourself. They are the most ferocious fish in the world. Even the most formidable fish, the sharks or the barracudas, usually attack things smaller than themselves. But the piranhas attack things much larger than themselves. They will snap a finger off a hand. They mutilate swimmers in every river, town. There are men who have been thus mutilated. They will rend and devour alive any wounded man or beast, for blood in the water excites them to madness. That is like an insane read about piranhas. If you read this in the context, it's clear that his information is most hearsay. It's like a giant game of telephones that was passed down from one explorer, fueled by an individual experience of the Brazilian who got bitten every once in a while. And then there's also the cow story. Think back when you were told about piranhas, and I guarantee that you have seen a cartoon or movie that they can devour a whole cow in no time at all. Well, that myth comes from Roosevelt's book as well. If I keep reading his book, it says, if cattle are driven into, or if their own occurred, into the water, they are commonly not molested, but if by chance some unusual big or ferocious specimen of these fearsome fishes does bite an animal, taking off part of an ear or perhaps from a teat from the udder of a cow, which is anywhere near, and unlike the attacked animal can immediately make its escape from water, it is devoured alive. And he doesn't say where he got this information from, just that the natives hold the piranhas in very high regard, even above other animals like caimans. And through members of his own party and other explorers they met up later, corroborate the story with being bitten or seeing people mutilated. But never once is there a direct source of a swarm of piranha killings or devouring an animal alive. Even through his own experience trekking through the Brazilian wilderness, which we've come to understand that is essentially his name of the entire Amazon River, even outside of Brazil. The only incident with piranhas he personally has witnessed are a couple of dog tails being bitten by them. So what's the actual truth of piranhas? Are they actually the most fearsome fish in the world that Roosevelt has described them as? Not really. Piranhas are actually very chill.
Oh, there we go. Red belly piranha.
Full of piranhas. They're just all over the place. Doesn't mean to say though that I can't do this.
Piranha attacks are fairly common, but almost never result in any serious injuries. If enough people want a serious video dedicated just to the biology and ecology for piranhas, I might make another video on piranha taxidermy and behavior, but for now suffice that if you fell into an infested piranha-filled water, you'd most likely walk away with just wet clothes and maybe a nibble. Just like any animals, piranhas only eat when they are hungry. Piranhas are what's known as an opportunistic omnivores, where they actually mostly eat dead things. They mostly decompose and eat dead matter, but if they can see like a small fish or a plant, they will go after that too. They're well adapted in their environment to catch prey of food without needing to immediately attack on anything that falls into the water. Their diets mostly consist of fish, crustaceans, and carrion, as well as fruits and plant matter. They also aren't driven into feeding frenzies once they smell blood. Quote-unquote feeding frenzies would only ever take place if they were starving, just like how any large group of any other animal would act. Piranhas are no more dangerous than any other fish you might find in the Amazon River. And also, I hope to continue making these longer videos and more in-depth videos. If you have an animal topic or any science-related topic that you do want me to go over, then please make a comment in this video right now. We will go over your topics and try to make any topic that you guys have. So yeah, I hope you liked the video. I'm very new to this, so hopefully with time, these videos will have more in-depth and better quality. But for now, I hope this is enough, and I hope you learned something new.